Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to introduction summary video for multiplayer game number 60. As usual, I remind you the purpose of this video is first to introduce the game, players and setting, and then to make a short summary of the game with a little bit of explanation just to let you know what the game is all about, so you can actually decide what parts of the game you are interested in, or do you want to watch the game at all. So spoiler alert, after initial introduction, if you do not want to know how the game went or how it ended, just stop watching the video and go to the second position of the playlist. So let's start with the initial introduction. This time I'm playing a 6-player free-for-all no quitters game. No quitters is a Steam group that gathers people who just want to play Civ without people quitting on them. You can find the link on my main channel page in the About section. So just check the profile, read the rules, join the chat, and ask one of the moderators for an invite. So this time it's a standard Pangea map with low C, and I believe there's actually no strategic balance, or maybe there is strategic balance, I don't actually recall right now. Sorry for that, not like it matters that much. So together in this game we've got NQJK Oker or J Coker, Mistax, 7A Left, Shidizzle, and NQ Lucky Strike. And if I remember correctly, well, you can see that I rolled Aztecs, but if I remember correctly, we've got NQJK playing as China. So pretty awesome Civ, Chukunu power plus the Papermaker and Great Generals Generation. It's a very strong Warmonger Civ. Mistax playing as Austria. So a pretty powerful late game civilization. If you actually can get enough gold and city-state allies, they can become very powerful in the late game. You can probably remember that from my previous video, my previous game, when I had a lot of trouble with Austria. Now 7A Left is playing USA. USA, well, the unique ability is a little bit underrated, but it's actually pretty strong, and the units, well, the units are great. Minutemens are really great for their era, and B-70s just rock the bomber world before stealth. Then we've got Shidizzle playing as Indonesia. Now Indonesia is probably an underrated Civ right now, because most of the people look at the unique ability and they think like, okay, we need some islands to make this work. Well, no, I mean, yeah, unique ability, you make it work, but you overlook the fate building, the garden, the replacement of garden. You don't need to plant your cities on river or lakes, and you get a lot of fate from those buildings. So people do not look at Indonesia like it's a strong religion Civ, and it is. It's a great religion Civ with the potential to generate great people faster in cities that are placed not necessarily on the river, on or lake. And we've got NQ Lucky Strike playing as Morocco, another very strong Civ, especially if you manage to get a lot of desert. Casbah just rules the world. But my Civ is not that shabby at all. Aztecs, one of the craziest growth-based Civs, not mentioning a great Warmonger Civ with that extra culture. So everybody's got a pretty nice Civ and pretty good players. The only player I don't think I played, well, actually two players I didn't play with the in this game is 7A Left and Shidizzle, if I remember correctly. With every other player I already played, and they were worthy opponents. So this is looking like a very, very interesting game indeed. So one more time, if you do not want to know how the game went, please stop watching right now and go to the second position of the playlist where the actual game starts. Okay, so let's start. At turn 26, I basically already met every single player except Thank you, Lucky Strike. Well, he was actually closer than everyone else, well, except Austria, but I haven't had a chance to meet any of his units. So it looked like I spawned on northern west corner of the map, and I gotta say, my land looked pretty cool. Now, as you can probably notice, there's an Austrian settler getting in here. I went for my usual build order, which is tradition opener into free liberty settler into finishing tradition, which means my settler is much slower than a hard build settler on population 2 or 3. Though I did try to block that settler from getting Mount Kailash, I failed, which I was kind of expecting, so not a big deal from that. So I decided to actually plant my first city on a mountain where my scout is at this screenshot, and then just slowly expand to other luxuries on my southern east side. Now, the land looked pretty cool for my defense, basically. Well, the connection with Austria would make this side relatively easy to defend. Now, it would seem like Indonesia is pretty far away and Morocco is actually a little bit of a mountain range, and 2 other players are absolutely on the other side from Morocco and Indonesia. So I was really hoping at this stage of the game that I can easily go for a heavy science and economic focused build in this game and actually get away with it. So after further exploration, I decided to actually go for city, 4 or 5 city into National College. The land was pretty cool, at least for the late game. Well, except Teotihuacan and the city in the north that I was about to plant, the rest of the cities would have a lot of food, and not mentioning they would have the unique building in them. So basically those 5 cities would make a nice score for my empire, and I was pretty happy with planting Teotihuacan and Tlatelolco because I was having this inland sea with the possibility of actually making a sea trade route, actually 2 sea trade routes. So I was pretty happy about it, and I wouldn't have to worry about any naval attack, well, until battleships and nukes, basically. But I was actually hoping that this city placement will make it a little bit good for defense, and to be honest, I was really hoping that nukes will not become an issue, at least against me in this game, because, well, I kinda don't like to have coastal cities without a coastal capital. I feel like you cannot compete against a player that have a coastal capital. So if you have an inland capital and only coastal cities, then you have a hard time to compete with production to get enough ships to actually defend your cities against a player who has every city on coast. At least that's my opinion, and I kind of try to avoid that. So my inland capital kind of forced me to just plant cities inland and kind of risk being attacked by navy. Well, basically, I saw that Indonesia is not on coast, Morocco is not on coast. The only civ that I actually seen that is on coast is Austria. So I was kind of hoping that I can actually train him more from the land in the when the time comes for any like any battleships to actually threaten me, that I will be able to threaten him by land much more, and he will not be able to use the naval advantage on me. Basically, that was the idea at this stage of the game. Okay, so we're on turn 98. I decided to add 2 more cities to my 5 core cities. Now, Xochicalco was not bothering anyone, but the city in the north, which is the name that I cannot actually see, well, for some unknown reason to me, since I was talking to everyone that I'm absolutely peaceful in this game, that city bugged Lucky Strike hugely. I think from this point he absolutely did not trust me that I will be peaceful. So though my intention was absolutely peaceful and economic science focused, I kind of had to prepare a little bit of defense for the timing attacks. I mean, like crossbows and artillery and stuff like that. Though I was really hoping that Lucky Strike will not try to attack me, since I had very good relations with Austria, and actually China was trading the other side of Lucky Strike. So though my score was high, sadly my score was high, so I was kind of looking like the absolute leader of this game. I was really hoping that actually I can that I will not have to fight before the late game, basically. Okay, so I skipped a lot of turns in this summary, but there is not really much going on. Well, basically my situation was a stalemate in here. I had some sort of a peace treaty with Austria. There was a war between China and Indonesia. Indonesia did not get out of that fight in a good condition, but overall there was absolutely peace on the other side as well. So a pretty peaceful game. Now Lucky Strike, as usual, was focusing a little bit on tourism, well, albeit even more than a little bit on tourism. So I tried to counter that with building at least the basic culture buildings, which should allow me to get enough culture to actually deny a culture threat from Lucky Strike. As you can see, I have also 3 writers ready to bulb when I will reach the maximum culture. Of course, I got a little bit of scientists stuck up in here. Well, I was pretty good at science at this point, so I think I was taking to research labs right now, even passing artillery after all. Having other ideology, and I believe Lucky Strike actually choose autocracy in this game, and or maybe not yet, maybe later on, but overall his tourism was much bigger than mine, so I started to have a little bit of happiness problems with his tourism pressure. But overall the game went without any surprises, so I was happily growing and building up my economy and science as much as possible. So basically, if you're interested in a pure economy, well, as you can see, I have a little bit of army, but it's nothing special, just a unit and 2 from here and then, just to have some sort of army strength. So if you're interested in absolutely economic science focused build, then you probably will like the first 190 turns before things started to be a little bit tricky. So let's skip to the following turn. So here we are, turn 190. So let me explain what did happen. As I previously mentioned, Lucky Strike was not happy with my Kalixtlahuaca city, and for some unknown reason for me, he thought that I will attack him at some point of the game, which was really not my intention in this game. I really was hoping for an absolute peaceful science win, basically without any combat. But that did not happen. What did happen is actually they made a coalition, at least for my knowledge, USA and Morocco made a coalition and attacked me. As soon as they got artillery, infantry, you can, on this screenshot you see they had a lot of cool military tags. You see tanks, machine guns, planes, SAMs, rocket artillery, so a lot of cool stuff. And I was actually too much focused. On economy, so I did not have enough army to actually save my frontal city. And I think this is one of those crucial parts of the game, because Lucky Strike and Leaf actually tried to convince Austria to join on me and do a 3v1. And that would be a problem for me, and I mean like a huge problem. I already was losing this city. What Lucky Strike did, which I actually don't like this, but well, you cannot stop that. He bought Wittenberg. That was previously my ally. So he bought Wittenberg, and then he declared war on me, so I couldn't buy him back. So instead of having an ally, I suddenly had an enemy in this city-state, and he took Mbanza Congo, so my city-state allies was my city-state ally number was diminished, and I was trying to have problems. As you can see on this screenshot, I have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units that are on, well, the same tech basically, and they have a huge number advantage. So basically, let me show you what happened next. Now this is a great screenshot that actually shows you in how bad shape I was. Look at the superior numbers of Lucky Strike. A lot of machine guns, great general rocket artillery, modern armor, and the units just kept on coming here. So I had a couple of bombers, a little bit of units fortified in a citadel, so I was barely holding. I was really barely holding. Now the only thing that saved me, as I mentioned previously, was actually that Austria denied joining the coalition against me. So he held true to the deal we made to have a peaceful life between each other, and he did not join a 3v1 against me, and I think that was the only thing that saved me, because in a conventional warfare I was losing, and I was losing badly. I was losing badly, so I decided to actually make a Manhattan Project and start producing nukes. Yes, I dislike those nukes. You see on the screenshot that I actually have aircraft station here, 5. One of those is a nuclear bomb, and I will bomb those units in front of my city to actually be able to defend against him. And this was the only decision that I think saved me. superior tech and the ability to get nukes faster before them. I think this was the only thing that actually saved me, because those units would kill me. I would have no chance in a conventional warfare, basically versus two very strong players. I mean, like, very strong players and civs. The combined production of Morocco and USA was really hard to counter for one person. So I decided that I need to try and slow Lucky Strike down, where, well, not maybe slow. I was even thinking for a second that I can actually take his capital. So I tried to nuke it and take it with XComs, but he had just too much army stationed around, so my 6 XCOM would just die. I tried it I think 2 or 3 times, and I just didn't have enough power to take out the troops that were defending his land. So yes, I did nuke his capital. I took a lot of population with those nukes, but still I was not able to actually try and win this by domination, at least taking out my biggest opponents, that's Lucky Strike and USA. So I decided to actually focus on defense, maybe taking out the city-state, at least the city-state Mbaza Congo, and just going for a science win. Now the problem was that actually tourism influence from Lucky Strike was so crazy that I had to switch ideologies at war. So, not mentioning 2 turns of civil resistance, I lost a lot of order tenants, a lot of order science, and I actually mistimed that switch, and I think I lost 1 social policy at least. Gaining a social policy. So my timings was basically off by a lot. I lost a lot of science, a lot of time, a lot of production. So that slowed me down enormously. You can probably notice foreign legions at my capital. Yeah, I had to switch to freedom and go for those foreign legions to actually get the tenants. I was hoping that I can at least buy some parts, but at the end I was not able to get the gold at all. But at this point I was definitely like, okay, I need to defend and just try to get a space win before USA do. But again, Austria came into play in here, and he actually decided to attack USA. I'm not sure why, but I was happy with that he actually held the deal true to me. So we had peace throughout all the game, and instead of me, he actually decided to attack USA. That was definitely helping me in this game. So let me show you how this game ended. And this is how it all ended. I managed to get a science win on turn 226. With all that, well, my science wise, absolutely over science. I had like, I think, couple future techs in the end. So science wise, definitely too much, but just the threat from Morocco and USA, so my fight to actually stay alive slowed my finishing time, and of course switching from order to freedom and so on, all those things. I think I could finish this game all out peace before turn 200, which would be my best attempt actually in a free-for-all game. So pretty cool. I'm happy with that. Now we had a chat at the end, as you can probably see in here. Well, basically Lucky Strike and USA blamed Austria for breaking for breaking the game, kind of. I mean, like, this is the problem with diplomacy in those games. Austria decided to hold true to the deal with me and be peaceful throughout the course of the game. And they actually blamed him for not joining against me for a 3v1. Now, this is really hard to tell what would happen if Austria would actually join against me. Maybe he thought that actually Morocco and USA will be able to slow me down enough so he can win before the others, so let them fight and let me win, and at the still time be true to the deal. I don't know. It's hard to tell. What if he actually joined on me and that would slow him down enormously, and at the end Morocco and USA would still get him killed because he would grow too large. It's really so hard to tell diplomacy wise what would happen if alliances would switch in between in the course of the game. Definitely Austria holding true to his deal with me of being peaceful definitely helped me in the end, at least for me personally. That allowed me to win. But the question is, would other choice from him would allow him to win? Because this is the question. You always want to do something that will benefit you and increase your chances for a win. Now the true question is, would attacking me would help Austria win? Now, if you can answer that question in 100%, certainly, then you can blame somebody for not doing something. But it's a really like question of what would happen without any information. Because if Austria would kill me, what city would he take? And if he would take too many cities, would Morocco and USA say like, okay, we need to kill Austria now? He would be destroyed at the end. And for now he had a pretty nice buffer, so as I said, maybe he hoped that actually I will not be able to finish this game fast enough so he can actually finish before me. I mean, like, USA was doing great. I think he missed 2 or 3 parts in the end, and he was attacked by Austria, so really those those timings are pretty close if you think about it. So what to do to actually increase your chances? That's the question. If those in those 3-4-alls, what diplomacy choices will increase your own chances to win? Because it's easy to say from Lucky Strike perspective, okay, Yoruus is the leader, I need to kill him. Yeah, that's true, you need to kill me, but this is from your perspective, and if you would kill me, then what would happen to you? Would China and USA now decided that actually Morocco is the threat now because he has all the Yoruus cities? Right? So, I mean, like, yeah, this is the point of those games. It's really hard. Those diplomacy choices, those alliances, are really game breaking. You can play your best, but at the end, alliances and diplomacy is so much important for your chances to success basically. Yeah, so that's it for the summary of this game. Thank you for the game, everyone. Pretty cool game. I enjoyed it very much. I finally was able to do the build focused on science and economy, and it actually worked pretty well. I believe I could do a little bit better, but it was not that bad. So I think that if you enjoy watching economic game at the start and some late game warfare, then you will definitely enjoy this game, because I enjoyed it a lot. So I invite you to watch the actual game that starts on the second position of the playlist. And one more time, thank you for the game, everyone. Thank you for watching, and best wishes. Yoruus out.